Just one quick check. I just want everybody to think about this. See those, all that color thing? You're going to have an effect on one council member. Personally, I would like my community of interest to have an effect on as many as possible. This way, you got one guy. So, or girl. So think of that. Think about that.
So with that being said, I believe that we're finished with this particular map. And then, Jamie, let me hand it over to you. And I think we're going to try one more map, but let's hear what Jamie has to say. Or is this it?
I think that we should move on to discussing the other maps. I think that a really good goal for this meeting would be to say no thank you to some of the maps and keep definitely one of the maps, of course, for public comment for future meetings. Maybe two, but I think one would be good because, of course, the goal of next week's meeting is going to be to land on one map to present to City Council. So kind of the fewer maps that we have at this meeting, then there's fewer maps to talk about at the next meeting, so we can really fine tune everything for the next ones.
Wonderful. Real quick, Barbara has one question.
Would you be able to print this up for us now, or how can we get it?
I can't print this out now. However, it will probably be available on the city's website as of tomorrow.
Yes, we'll put it up on, my office is in charge of putting everything on the website, so I'll make sure it's up there as soon as we... Yeah, I'll get your email address and I'll make sure I'll send you the link. No problem. With that being said, Jamie, do you want to go through the maps and just take votes on each one and decide which ones should continue?
Yeah.
Or what do you... Jamie, or yeah, Karin, you take it from here.
I think I'll defer to Jamie if she wants to take a vote on all of them, but I have to say, at some point, we are going to have to put our expert hat on. And there's definitely at least one map that is just not workable because it is not legally defensible based on the criteria that we have. And that is the one that splits the coast into four. Because that map basically is just so non-compact, it's just not workable. And there is no, you can work on that map for another week or two, and it's never going to be a compact map. And it also splits a lot of communities of interest, as far as I know from Jamie. And I think there is at least one other map that also has a problem. So I would say, you all hired us for our expertise, so we're going to have to expert a little bit here and just give you that feedback because I don't want to waste anybody's time.
Yeah. Great. So. Thank you, Karin.
Are we going to get to vote on Richard's map?
Well, we'll talk about it. Let's just do one at a time. We have now like 5.
I think now there's 6 total.
Yeah.
So this is the one that Karin was speaking of. As you can see, there's a lot. Right. So I think that we're going to toss this one out, as somebody put it. Okay.
No disputes on that. Obviously, it's not legally defensible, but just want to make sure. Okay. All right. Yeah.
Okay. And next, so every time I bring up these other maps, there's going to be a little bit of kind of behind the scenes moving around stuff on the computer because it's not going to be all, as you can see, it's kind of like off kilter a little bit here. So please bear with me. This is the shoreline intact map. So the driving force behind this map was having the shoreline be intact. This one needs work. This district, I believe, is, all right, the yellow district is underpopulated by -9%, so that would need to make up population somewhere else. There would be a big exchange, and we can work on it further here. This is the one called Shoreline Intact.
Real quick, so Barbara, you can ask your question out loud, and then I'll have Ray.
Can we just vote on this to get rid of it?
And let me just, Ray had one question.
Unless
Here, hold
maybe, is there anybody who would like to speak to really liking this map and wanting to keep this map? Okay.
Okay, so there's no one who wants to keep them, okay, perfect, carry on. Okay, all right, so there is one person, but that's, I think, maybe just,
Or
okay.
we can also talk about things that are good about this map that it would be nice to incorporate into other maps, yeah.
I'm sorry? Okay, so the east side is good on this. But it's not properly populated, so it would need a lot of work. So at this point, it's basically just a large concept. I just also wanted to say that we have heard testimony that the coast should be in 1 district, in 2, in 3, and in 4. Okay, so at some point, I said one of those may be right, correct, or, so at some point, you're gonna have to make a decision. This is a really big community of interest. If you go with that testimony, 18,000 people is a lot of people to keep together, and it will basically drive the entire architecture of the entire map. So it's a difficult one. So I think the compromise, honestly, is probably going to have to be between 2 and 3, and I would say it's probably going to be 2, but we'll talk about that and see where we get, because we have some really good aspects of some of these maps, and hopefully we can take the good aspects and then just put them together and come to something that we can all live with. Okay, clearly not everybody's going to get what they want. This is a negotiation to get to, where we're all okay until 4 years from now when we get to do it again. Okay? Yes, 4 is out. Yeah, yes, so, yes, I think we're making progress, exactly.
So is there anything about this map that anybody would like to comment on, things that they like about it?
Hi, everyone. I like that the boot, so to speak, into Carlsbad is contiguous. It's more condensed than that big lower level. I think that might be meaningful in some way. But at the same time, I agree with splitting the coastal community. I think that also would be beneficial, so you can't have your cake and eat it too.
Thanks, Jane.
May I comment on her comment? When I made my comments, I showed that our community interests really were in line with the other communities along the bottom there rather than the internal part of that. So I believe the last map that she just drew, that we just did today, and the one that was called the neighborhoods really take care of that little appendage there on Oceanside and the bottom along to the coast, which also gives two accesses to the coast to 2 different districts.
That's good.
I'm just going to take off on Jane's comment. I also like how, and incorporating your comment, I like how this is more compact. Well, this I don't like, obviously. I like the split coast. But as far as bringing this over and getting more of a squared form, if this was El Camino Real, then you would have the country clubs together with this boot. You would have Tri-City together with the boot, and I think you'd have another golf course. Now, I'm not that familiar with exactly up in here, but I probably would make more of a line there and then come down this way. But I like that aspect that Jane did, and hopefully it incorporates some of her feedback. I don't know.
All right, I am going to move on to...
So say goodbye.
Oh.
Goodbye to this map.
All right, I'm going to move on to the map that's called the quadrants map. And then after this, there's the neighborhoods map, and then we can look at Richard's map too, which was an idea presented today. So is there anybody who would like to comment on this map? This map is also not fully balanced.
Well, I think that's the question, Jamie, is the communities of interest like Oceana and the area around the mission, what the gentleman said before, is that split up in this, or is that running along 76? Yeah, I mean, I happen to like that because it puts Jeffrey's Ranch back in my neighborhood, which where I think it belongs, but it's hard to see the inside.
So in this map, this red district is sorry, there's a fly buzzing in my face. It's 9.14% over population. We can see if taking this area and moving it into the yellow district. Okay. And should Highway 76 or Mission be the boundary? All right, it is Mission here, so. Okay, so that now makes this yellow district 9.33% overpopulated. So we have to lose some population here. So part of the yellow district needs to become part of the blue district. This area? Right. All right, I heard maybe make this on 76, the line.
Any dispute with that?
Oh.
Okay, all right.
This map as opposed to the one that we designed tonight, is there any reason for just messing with this one?
The reason why we're doing these maps
Yeah.
were drawn on Saturday.
Right.
So basically, we're taking the maps that were drawn on Saturday and modifying them with any public input. But the one that we already did is not being modified
Yeah.
tonight.
It is actually a good question, the question that you just asked, because once you kind of get your concept, and you have something that already works, then is it easier just to work with something that is closer to, meeting all the goals and then perfecting that, or taking one that is further away and then going through the exercise of turning that into the map that we just looked at? So, which I've seen happen, seriously. I mean, and we've all done this, even in the privacy of our own homes, you have like 3 different map drafts, and then all of a sudden you're realizing, after a lot of work, you turned your third map into the one that you drew first, so, because there is a sweet spot. I'm sorry? Hold on.
This one. Sorry, give me 1 second.
Just 1 sec, she's looking.
So this green district is underpopulated. It's negative 5.84%, so it would not need a ton more population to make it work. It does, some communities of interest we heard about tonight, it does split Tri-City area, and it splits Mira Costa.
Zach, why can't we just go with the map that we did tonight, which was based on all the comments of the people that were here, and the ones that we feel were not balanced, let's just cross them off and move forward?
Because there's been other meetings with other decisions. But we'll bring that map to the other meetings and not these old maps. We'll bring the new map to them.
So just a quick, to that point is just for the process standpoint, since these maps were what were drawn on Saturday, just going through the process of deciding whether or not we want to continue with these maps or not. But I think that's like what we decided with the strata map and then the most recent maps. I think we're doing that with these last two maps that were part of the ones were drawn on Saturday. It is a little time consuming, I apologize, but yeah, I just want to be fair to the people who were there on Saturday
We
too.
did like the neighborhood map and we like the new map, so that's still two maps. But this
Yeah.
one sounds like almost all the districts are unbalanced.
Yeah, and that's why we'll,
So if this change was made, which is just making Tri-City whole and all in the green district, then they would all be balanced.
And that's what the neighborhood looks like. That looks like the neighborhood.
One difference is that this area south of Oceanside Boulevard, which is in Mira Costa, is not included. So in the blue district, this is Rancho del Oro, Cameo Drive. This area is just west of College. This is, let's see, Worcester Drive, Thunder Drive, etc. So that's one difference. The other difference, of course, is that Jeffrey's Ranch is not included with Morrow Hills, and this area between the river and Mission is included with North Valley.
so Jamie, on this one, should we either get more public input or a vote, or how do you?
Is there
recommend
anybody who strongly feels that we should keep this one?
So I think that perhaps, Jamie, correct me if I'm wrong, should we have then just,
Can we vote?
should we either have public discussion or a vote?
Maybe we can, since we were talking about potentially saving two maps, maybe for now we can save this one, move on to the neighborhoods map, and then, yeah, put it in maybe.
Okay, who's all right with putting this in the, let's just vote for maybe category, like if you want this to continue on with discussion. Okay, who does not want this? All right, actually, keep your hands up, I missed. Okay, this is if you want this map to proceed and at least for further discussion. Okay, who does not want this map to proceed? Okay, so it's 15 in favor, 8 against. So we'll proceed with this one, just for the sake of discussion. It's not final, but in the maybe category. So now we're going to move on to the neighborhoods map and get feedback and discussion, modification to that one. Thanks again for participating in this.
You all are gonna have to make a decision. You cannot have all of them, okay?
This is a new one.
This is the new one. This is the neighborhoods map. Everybody can see in their handouts. This again is South Oceanside all the way across. This is St. Cloud Way. Trying to find out just that information. This is Belle Flora. And then moving up Old Grove, up Mission, to College, up Vandergrift to the city limits. That's the blue district that I just described.
Jamie, would you like feedback on this from the public?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Who wants to speak? All right, Scott. Yeah, I know, yeah. This is,
Well, noting that there's nothing that's perfect, I think this is the best one I've seen in terms of what the chamber would like accomplished in balancing out the business community. So, I think this is the best of those four options.
thank you, Scott. Anyone else? Yeah.
Zoom in so I can see as far as the street. Oh, sorry. Can we zoom in to see the streets on the red district going west? So right here, just to see what street that is. So it does include the Mid Valley.
This also kind of jogs around a little bit. This is Fireside. up here to Park. This is Fireside Park, so it's everything west of Fireside Park.
Can you move north? Can you see how?
And this is Wayland Lake Road, North River. And I think that this is, I think that basically this move of taking out this kind of strip of the yellow district was made for population reasons.
Yeah, it looks like it's splitting up the neighborhood.
So this is just, that's right there is one big census block, and this is, so as you can see, the census blocks are just shaped kind of funny in this area, and including, I see that.
I guess my biggest concern is because in order to get back to these neighborhoods, you have to cross bridges. And so you're already splitting up communities of interest. There's no way to get back there without going through these communities. What does the population look like on them? Oh, it splits up the, yeah, but it splits up the entire, the Deep Valley.
So adding this area to the red district would bring the red district to 8.07% population and the yellow district to negative 9.86% deviation. So that's why that move was made, was to balance the districts.
Yeah, but it divides a community. So I would oppose this map.
It divides the valley.
Yeah, yeah.
Appreciate it.
Oh, here you go.
Oh, yeah, no worries. Here, Jane. Here you go.
Does that little nose that sticks out on the red, on the right, yeah, right there?
Can you repeat that?
Is the little nose, the red nose that sticks out into the blue, would that offset that other area?
I think yellow.
So this is College, and it's, let me see, it's split by the river. So this right here is one large census block, and it, including that area, would need to include all of this as well. And that would offset that, this change, but it would be a pretty funny shape for the district. If we added all of this in, and the reason that some of the districts will look bigger than the other is because like this area is not very densely populated, and other parts of the city, because it's all based on population, where it's very densely populated, there are more people there, so the area will be smaller. So, and I think that including this entire area, to answer your question, the entire highlighted area would be too big to make that exchange between the red and yellow and blue happen.
I would like to keep the neighborhood map just as one of the ones that we would have. So we did the one before and this one. It gives, I think, at least a perspective of what you're looking at. It includes agriculture with industry and residential for the Far East Coast, or Far East area. We don't have a coast, we have a desert. And it also allows for some of the neighborhoods that we were talking about earlier to stay intact with each other. So my hope is we can keep this at least as an option on the table.
I just want to understand something. The people that were at the other meetings, are they the ones that came up with some of these? And then we're the fourth meeting and we have the power to get rid of a map? Is that?
So we built these maps they're all labeled concept maps, and that's because there were all of these ideas out there. For example, split the coast into 4 different districts and keep the district fully intact, or like use sort of like a quadrant system to split the districts. And so at that last meeting, we were exploring what those would look like, knowing that none of the districts we were going to come up with were going to be totally perfect. And that's why we didn't make them at the very last meeting in a time crunch. We made them so that there could be public comment on them. And they were really just sort of like looking at the concept, for example, of splitting the shoreline into 4 districts, like how would that actually look with how the population is spread throughout the city? What neighborhoods would be intact? Where would the lines potentially actually be drawn? So, and those were all made knowing that eventually we would be whittling it down to one map that is going to be presented to City Council.
Okay, but who came up with, so the people at the last meeting didn't do what we just did with that
Yeah,
communities of interest?
all of those were done in public at the last meeting
Once
based on
again,
community testimony.
I don't understand how we would have the power to get rid of them, vote against them. Somebody that was at the 3rd meeting and is coming to the 5th meeting and really liked one of the maps they worked on, and now it's not here anymore. I don't understand how we have that power in one meeting.
Our criteria are set, and we did not fully meet all the criteria. We basically just wanted to see if somebody wants to split the coastline into 4, can we maintain all of our criteria, keep communities of interest together, have compactness and all of that? And the answer is no. So essentially, we had to draw it out first to figure out, and that's why, so the power of getting rid of it is basically due to the fact that it just doesn't meet the criteria. And now, what we're doing is we're looking at these maps and figuring out, again, which criteria can we maintain? Are these legally defensible maps? Do they keep communities of interest about which we have testimony? Are these communities of interest in the proper districts where people have said they want them to be? And that's what we're going through right now. So clearly, some of these maps do a better job than others. So it's not like the power of getting rid of something. It is evaluating what we did very quickly at the last meeting and figuring out which map does the better job. Because
we actually took a vote on the shoreline map, though, the shoreline intact map. And we voted to keep it as a possibility to look at it, but we could have voted the other way.
Correct.
Yeah, and just on that point, as far as the process is concerned, the people at the meeting on Saturday at Mel Bishop Park were informed that this was going to be the process. They'd come to this next meeting, and the maps would keep getting whittled down, and that's why I actually recognize a number of people who were at the Saturday meeting are here tonight as well. So yeah, I understand where you're coming from on that, though. It does seem a little funny, but that's just kind of the way we have to get it down to one map. Yeah, trying to make it the best we possibly can. Yeah, I'm sorry about that. Jamie, any other insight regarding this?
I think that we should make a decision about whether to keep this map or not, considering that right now we also are keeping the community of interest map. We have in the maybe stack the quadrants map, and then we have this map, and we're also going to look at the map that was presented by Richard Fox.
Okay, so on that note, then I think the most clear way of doing that would just be voting on this map. So all in favor of keeping this map for consideration, please raise your hands. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay, I see. Oh, I got you guys. Yeah, 13. All right, those in favor of not in favor of this map, raise your hand. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so your hand wasn't up for that one, correct? Okay, all right. So 13 in favor of moving forward, 7 opposed to the map. So this map continues.
Okay, so then that means that if we're keeping this one, then we're getting rid of the maybe of the quadrants.
So
because we can, remember, we're keeping a maximum of 2 from this meeting.
Perhaps, Jamie, should we show the 3 maps sequentially so everyone can refresh their mind and see what those maps look like when they're voting?
And also, you all have to look at these maps. We're going to keep working on 2 maps, okay? So basically, maybe 2. You don't think we're going to get to 1 today? So basically, think about the 2 maps and think about which one you could turn into something that's perfect. all right? These maps are actually not that far off from each other. If there is one that is very similar to another one that's already in the keep pile, then, figure out what it is you like in the one map that's not in the other one, and let's work on that, write that down, and let's figure out if we can integrate it. Basically merge two maps together and turn it into something that will work. Yes?
I'm laughing myself because a month and a half ago, I went to Oklahoma to watch and learn their process because they went through the same things for his district elections. And the meeting that I went to, they had 18 maps on the wall for the community to select. And here we are talking about, what, 5 or 6? So it's a process, and we're going to get there.
Thanks, Terry. I saw you.
No.
It's a process.
Before we put this into the permanent good file, again, I'm okay with the way that the blue and the red are, especially because speaking to the neighbors back here, that's something that they're all good with. The one concern that I still have is, and I'm going to probably beat it to death, is the density parity on the coast. So if this could if it was, I would want to have it slightly modified to increase from Wisconsin without Crown Heights, and then somehow disperse the density, possibly with that little latch up there that I guess some people are concerned with. So if that brown got Crown Heights and then that little sliver went to wherever somebody did want it, and then, kind of just tweak the population in the green area, maybe a little Loma Alta, I don't know, something like that. But I still want to see a map, because I know mine was supposed to be on the website that has the Wisconsin Street divide. Thank you.
Thank you, Cindy. So,
Well, why don't we check out the population of those areas and see if it would be possible to make that change? This does divide the Coastal Neighborhood Association Community of Interest.
And the valley.
I mean, looking at this population switch.
I do have a question. When we look at the red district, I see some green. Oh, sorry. I see some green towards the border with the yellow and the red. And I just have a question. Oh no, so can we go up to the red as far as going north? I just want to make sure that that's not Libby Lake Park right here. That's not being cut off from the red. It's not, right? I don't think it is because it's too far.
That's the golf course.
Right, that's what I thought. It was too far away from the actual river. Okay, that's fine.
cool. No, thank you.
Which sliver?
Hi, Jamie, before you start on that, as president of OCNA and the Seaside community, I really don't want to split up, as much as I understand your concern, Cindy, I don't want to split up the Oceanside Boulevard to Wisconsin, because that's part of our neighborhood association, which is very strong, 15 years long.
Thank you.
I had a response to that.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Jane. I know, I do have compassion for that. I guess, and I'm trying to be empathetic to it, but if you looked at the ratio, I'm not saying it's the organization, I don't know how big it is, but if there's 12,000 people in that district and you